If you would like, have a tissue handy to start today. I have mine hidden there. We're going to do a little invigorating breath technique for this Monday in October. And I do hope everyone is well, and it's good to have you all here. So legs crossed or feet out in front, whatever's comfortable. And just take a moment here, kind of transition from whatever you've been up to this morning to your mat and to your practice. And then before we get into the Kapalabhati breath, we'll just do a little test breath. And I'm bringing my hand to my belly just to kind of feel the belly drawing in and up as I exhale out of the nose. Okay, so just notice how that feels if you're at all congested or have any digestive situation going on and you feel that this kind of warmth and energy to the abdominal area is not appropriate. Of course, you can skip it. All right, so that's a little test. If it feels okay, we'll lift the arms. We're going to go back to what I've done quite regularly in the past, curling the fingers in, extending the thumbs. Okay, so reaching the arms up like so. Now, Kapalabhati breath, we continue what we were doing, but more vigorously. So it's belly drawing in and up, and the inhalation comes passively. The shoulders are relaxed. You can close the eyes if you want to, or soften the gaze. Good inhale, and then just float the fingers down to the shoulders as you exhale. Take a breath here, inhale. Exhale. If the more vigorous breath techniques are working for you, we will do Bhastrika, bellows breath. We rotate side to side, so it's a strong inhalation, strong exhalation, like a bellows pumping a fire. You can go faster than I'm going or slow it down. Back to center. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands to the floor. Now I like to keep the eyes open after Bhastrika, especially rotating like that, just so you don't feel dizzy or lightheaded. And just soften the gaze, feel that solid earth beneath you. Notice if the airways, the air passages have opened a little, maybe you've warmed up a bit, maybe you've just kind of transitioned and cleared the mind from whatever's going on in your head today. And then you can keep the fingers to the earth or bring the hands to the knees or thighs if you'd like. And then at this point, if you're comfortable closing the eyes, it's a nice way just to bring the awareness inward and to follow the breath. So we know that the breath is always in the present moment. So when we focus on the breath, we can't be drifting mentally to the past or into the future, which is what the brain tends to want to do, I find. Let the breath deepen, feel the effects, the body beginning to relax, the mind beginning to still. And from here we can take a moment just to scan the body, noticing how we're feeling on this Monday morning. Each day is different. There may be some physical sensation you want to be aware of in your body, your mood, your energy levels. And if a certain pose today, perhaps a restorative pose or something else, feels really nurturing and beneficial, you're always welcome to stay there longer or add more to the practice in any other way if you need to. And then from here we'll lift the hands so the palms facing towards the sky, and a moment to open to an intention or affirmation. I was thinking about courage last week. Letting go of fear, anxiety, just opening to possibilities and potential. See what arrives for you today. As you take a big breath in and lift the hands up and down to the heart, I'll mention one of the readings that I come back to is a thought to be calmly active and actively calm. And I was reflecting upon that today because it's really about balance. So sometimes we want to get great things done, but we get kind of wacky with it, or we don't have the motivation to get anything done. So calmly active, actively calm is a thought for our practice perhaps today. Okay, we'll release. So I did think we'd come onto our backs and just do a nice little stretch early on. So you can uncross the legs, come on down with care. we'll go right into our full body stretch. If you have room, reaching the arms back, stretching the legs long, give a little wiggle the fingers and toes side out if you want to. And then just bring one knee in towards your chest and take this opportunity to circle your foot. So getting a little stretch into the ankle joint. And then to the other side. So stretch out the right leg, bring in the left knee, circle away here. And then as many of you are familiar with, we'll take a little continuation of this warm-up by bringing one leg in and then the other. You can go very slowly, especially if the knees or lower back or anything are talking to you today. Or you can go a little faster. You can also lift your head, tuck your chin, and keep it going this way to generate a little more warmth and a little extra challenge to the core. Okay, whatever version you're doing, of course, keep breathing. And then I wanted to come into a gentle recline twist. So the next time your left leg stretches out, just bring your right knee over to the left side of your mat. You can relax your right shoulder, and you could gaze to the right if you want to. And just guide that left leg over as far as you want to go. This is a warm-up. It's a little different than at the end of the practice. Come back to center. We'll just take the recline twist to the other side. So left knee in. Coming over to the right side of your mat with your left knee. Relaxing your left shoulder, maybe looking to the left. And just adding a little bit of weight if you want to that left leg, just to deepen the twist. Now come back to center, hug the knees in towards the chest, give a little lift of arms and legs to shake everything out. I always like this one. And then this is a little different early on, but I'm going to try this, bringing the feet down to the floor and then dropping the knees wide. So you're in reclined, bound angle. And you might take a moment here, kind of lifting the hips, tucking the tailbone a little bit, maybe hands to the belly just for a couple seconds. This is a really restorative pose, very calming. And then if you do want to change the arms, you could take the hands either behind your head or bend the arms and bring the arms to the floor behind your head. So just a couple breaths here. And then because we are not heading towards relaxation just yet, we are on the other end of the practice, I'm going to get into our little gluteal strengthening exercise. So for this one, we keep the legs as they are, and then we bring the arms up like so, extending the backs of the hands towards the ceiling with the fingers interlaced. Now, I was thinking this is kind of tricky early on to wake up those gluteal muscles on the back side. So see how it goes. We're going to squeeze the butt muscles, lift the hips up, relax and release down. So it does take a little, messaging to get the brain to send the thought to the glutes to engage here. But try it somewhere between 5 to 8 rounds. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. We'll do just a couple more. And then we'll just bring the knees in, hug thighs towards the chest, just a little rocking again to massage the lower back. And then we're going to rock on up from here, or come up any way that you want to, through a seated position. So just a pause to let your body adjust. And then right along onto our knees for, you guessed it, flying cow. Okay, we're going to lift the arms, do a little fluttering. I was saying the other day it could be flying sheep if you want to bah or moo. The moo actually feels good in the mouth, or just feel that you're clearing away thoughts that are not serving you, clearing the air, bringing in some nice, bright, clean, positive energy to your sphere of being. And then we'll bring the hands down. We're going to get into our first downward dog. And for this, we'll spread the fingers and curl the toes under and lift up. Now, remember, you can always do a child's pose instead, or table to child's pose if you don't want to have the head down. Just start your walking the dog here, pressing one heel and then the other towards the back of the mat. I did a little variation the other day where I had you turn the toes in, kind of a pigeon-toed position. Big toes pointing in a bit, and that just changes the stretch a little bit, for me anyway. And then toes back to the forward-facing position. We're going to shift plank. And we'll go 3 times, down dog to plank. You can always do table to child's pose instead. hold your plank for a couple of seconds here. Shoulder blades gliding down the back. The face is relaxed. The shoulders are right over the wrists, which makes the fine tune a little bit there. Makes it more comfortable on the joints. And then come down to the knees. We had a little discussion about owls just a moment ago. So I love that because I love to imagine an owl as I do. The wise owl. Turn your head one way, the palms face forward. Turn the head back to center, the palms face back. The breath is inhaling and exhaling. And exhaling once more to each direction. This is great for the neck. I think it was said to reduce anxiety and maybe even fatigue as well, which is nice to know. And then speaking of those thoughts, I'm going to bring us to a mudra while we're on our knees here. Now I'll be a mirror image of you, okay? I think that's a little easier. You're going to cup your left hand and bring it just below your navel center, below your belly, not touching the body. Cup your right hand, again I'm a mirror image of you, so hands are like so. And this is Abhya Varada mudra. And you can close your eyes or soften the gaze. I think it's nice to try mudras in different positions, seated, standing, here we are kneeling. Just take a couple of deep breaths. And this mudra is about releasing fear and anxiety and bringing us to a place of calm and certainty and security. So I like it quite a bit at different points in the practice. We'll release Abhya Varada mudra. We'll come to all fours. We'll do a little cat-cow here for a Monday. So flexing and extending the spine. And remember, if you want a little something different for the arms, wrists, and back, you can turn your wrists to face forward or just, turn the fingers out a little bit, whatever works for you. But this I don't do a whole lot of rounds of, but sometimes just a few. Cow with the hand position of your choice. And then we'll stay in table. I'm just going to shake out the hands a little bit. If the wrists are feeling tender, you can always make fisted hands here. And then we're just going to go into a donkey kick. So your right leg, I always have to laugh when I say this just because it's fun to think of donkeys kicking. This one also kind of activates the gluteal muscles, the back side. So we'll keep it going. It's your right leg, and you're kicking rather vigorously towards the ceiling. I thought today we would take the move where we first of all straighten the leg and bring the toes over to the left side of the mat, looking over your left shoulder. And then as you release, we're going to take the leg out to the side, but we're going to bend it. Now I'm going to turn and be a mirror image of you, okay? So this is our little H position, and you'll want to make sure you have enough padding for that supporting knee. Okay, and be aware of how your hips feel as you consider pulsing to the side. So I'm pulsing to the direction of the leg that is the foot to the floor. A little different sort of stretch for the hips. Okay. And then I'm going to have us do a side stretch here. Reaching up and over. And then to the other direction. Now as you do this one, you can bring your hand to the floor and you'll play around, straightening your right leg and reaching overhead, turning your gaze a little. Some of you may like to bend the right leg and do a bind, a little back bend. So we'll stay just a couple breaths more so you can just stretch and play and see the world from a different perspective. And then as we come up, you'll be bringing your right foot forward. So I'm just going to shift so I'm in the typical orientation of my mat here. So we'll bring the right foot forward. We're in our lunge. I want to get off of the back knee because we've been on it for a little bit. So we'll bring the hands to the floor and lift like so. Okay, a nice long spine, a nice smooth steady breath. And then bringing the left knee down and we'll come up, inhale. Open nice and wide. So I love thinking about opening the heart center. Some days this area of the body feels a little closed, a little tight, a little chilly. So we'll open and warm the heart center. One more big breath in. And then hands to the sacrum, the lower back, the palms right to that kind of small of the back, fingers pointing down. And you can deepen the lunge here and get a nice back bend. It's also a chance to come to a high lunge. And this could be done with the hands to the lower back, or you can move the hands for stability and balance to bring yourself up. Ooh, okay, so I'm going to adjust my feet a little here. And then I've got my hands to the sacrum so I feel support to do a little bit more of a back bend. Nice steady breath. Again, if you prefer to lift the arms, you could take any variation you like. Sometimes we cross the wrists and bring the palms together and lift to what I call the lobster claw hands. This is always a very uplifting pose, energizing, clarifying perhaps, clears the mind. We're going to come down, and if you want a little breather, you can go right to table and then to child's pose. For a bit more of a challenge, kick that right leg back to three-legged dog. And then we played with this the other day. You might have to wiggle your left foot back. Let's see if you can come to a three-legged plank. Three-legged dog. Monday special. One more time. Three-legged dog. Now, if you did want a more vigorous practice, you could continue on here, but otherwise, please take child's pose. Okay, I'm just going to do one round of this. I like to give it as a visual so you know it's an option. You can continue with the flow of that sort, and then we will end up in child's pose. Just to take a nice moment to rest and let our bodies digest what we've done. Just one small adjustment here while you take your time. Feel the spine elongating, feel the lower back and the belly releasing. Just take these nice deep breaths. And then we'll come up to table and just take a little moment here. We're going to get into everything on the second side. So we did the cat-cow. We'll go right into the donkey kick with the left leg bent, foot flexed, kicking up towards the ceiling, kind of vigorously, as I like to say, with good intent. And then with the legs still lifted, we'll straighten. Take it over to the right side of your mat. Look over your right shoulder. And then come back. You're going to go into the little H. So the leg is bent and coming out to the left side. Now I'll turn and be a mirror image of you. So this is our little H position. Make sure that supporting knee has enough padding. And then if it feels okay in the hips and in the knee, we'll pulse a little bit side to side. Around 5 times. And then we're good for our side stretch, keeping the leg bent here, reaching up and over. And then as we go to the other direction, it's a question of how we feel getting the hand all the way to the floor. Maybe straightening that left leg, and then just playing around. The arm can go straight up towards the ceiling or overhead or behind your back, or you can get hold of your foot with your hand if you want to. See what you see. Always interesting. We see all the little caulking jobs that we need in our homes, or the maybe few little cobwebs that we haven't gotten rid of yet, way up there in the corner. Okay, and then we're going to come out of this and go into the lunge, and it's the left foot coming forward, and we'll get off of the right knee for a little bit, bringing the hands to the floor, lifting that back leg. So a couple nice deep breaths here, and then bringing that right knee down, and we'll just take that heart opening variation, just a big breath in, opening wide, and release. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale. Once more. And release. Hands to your lower back. Okay, so with the hands to the sacrum, you could stay here. You could deepen the low lunge, like so. And then if you want to go into the high lunge, just do so mindfully. Sometimes it takes a few adjustments of the positioning of the feet. Okay, so hands to the lower back. Give you some back support if you want to deepen the back bend. Just continue to breathe. And then if you'd care to take the lobster claw hands, cross the wrists, bring the palms together, lift and stretch and open. And we'll be coming down carefully. Same as before, you could go to table and then right to child's pose. If you want to join me in the three-legged dog, once you've gotten that far, we might as well do our three-legged plank. And we'll do that 3 times. Okay, so one more time here. Lifting up. And then both feet to the floor for down dog. And we will be coming to child's pose, but if you want one more plank, I'm not doing forearm plank today, so this is the last hurrah of the plank poses today. Shoulders over the wrists, hovering and feeling some nice warmth in the body. And then just a release in child's pose, take the knees nice and wide. And settle the hips back, relax the head. And I was reflecting on the variation some people like, which is to turn the palms up with the thumbs pointing out. And that may give you a little different sort of stretch in your shoulders and upper back. Now, if you do want a little more movement in your practice, you could go ahead and do just another round of down dog or plank or a flow right now. And otherwise, we'll be making our way up to standing, and you could go through down dog, or as we often do, have the option of a low squat. Just a couple moments here to feel yourself balancing on the balls of feet. And you come all the way up with care. And as you come up, take a big breath in. Adjust the screen. Bring the hands down to the heart center. And I was going to return to a mudra that I think we did last week, which I really like. So this is the Ida Pingala mudra, and this helps us to balance the energy. So this idea of being calmly active and actively calm. So I won't be a mirror image, but we're going to go side to side, so it doesn't really matter. We'll start with our left hand cupped and the index finger and thumb tips together. Right hand kind of cupped, again with thumb and index fingers together. So one hand over the other. I'm just going to show it in different views here. Okay, so if you have your left hand underneath, this connects us more to the calming, cooling energy of the body. The Ida is the energy channel. And then as you spiral and have the left hand facing, or the right hand facing up, left hand down, this connects to the Pingala. And that's the more energized, kind of solar energy, warming energy. So balancing, calmly active, actively calm. And some days we may need to focus more on the calming position here with the left hand up. Maybe some days more with the right hand up to kind of boost our energy levels. But, in a practice with the legs a little soft here, just kind of going back and forth is quite nice for just balancing things out, finding that balance. But you can finish with whichever hand you would like to have facing up. Inhale, exhale, release. We'll shake things out and do a few preliminary moves here standing. So I thought, of course, the hip circles would be nice. Just taking your hips one direction. And the other way. And we'll borrow from Qigong after the hip circles. So the energizing move where we bring one arm forward, one arm back, like so. Now I'm going to just do fisted hands today, kind of reach and pull, because it feels like a little much to figure out one hand up, one hand down. If you want to have your back hand up, your right hand down, you can do that rotation. But otherwise, just kind of reach and pull, keep the legs a little soft, feel nice mobility in the shoulder girdle, generating some heat. And then we'll follow this with our playing with chi. So like you have a nice round ball. I like to take the feet a little wider and just move as if through water, side to side, up and around. And we'll come back to center and settle the chi. Breathe in. Bring the feet a little closer together, palms down, breathe out. Check in with how you're standing. And before we get to our flow at the top of the mat, I thought we would just come into a quick balance because each day is different when it comes to balance. I'll turn a little so you have a good view. Nothing fancy at the start here. Lift one leg, doesn't matter which one. If you have a wall or furniture handy, that's great. I might need it. And then we're just going to go up with the leg and down. So almost like you had it on a block or a stool and you were taking it high and then low. So this is quite challenging. You might feel it in the glutes, in the hip flexor. And of course, you're balancing, standing on one leg, so it's all the more of a complicated combination with strength and balance all in one. Ooh, okay, we'll come down, shake it out. Do the other side. Okay, so your leg is lifting, wherever your second side is. And I'm going up and then back to where I came from. A little different than going down and then up. And you can fix your gaze if you want to on something that's not moving. That will help with the balance. Okay, just a little bit longer. And then release. Take a big breath in. Exhale and fold like you're just scooping up some nice cool water here. Lift up and splash that cool, refreshing water over you. We'll do that 2 more times. A chi wash. Washing away anything we don't need. And bring the hands down. Let's bring the hands to the belly here and just pause. So we've done quite a bit already. And we'll just let our bodies adjust to all that we've done. We can come back to our intentions here. Connect to the breath. And then if you are not at the top of the mat, take a little shuffle forward. And we will just do a couple half sun salutes, standing nice and tall and lifting the arms up. Exhaling, folding. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. Exhale. And then as you come up, we'll step the right foot back, and occasionally I do this in slow motion, so that gives us a little more of a challenge to the balance. And just find your warrior one stance here, square the hips to the front of the mat, draw the belly in and up, lift and hold. Now I was going to offer today just talking about kind of releasing fear and opening to confidence and courage, extending the arms to this kind of V position. I'll face you here so you can see. Okay, so I'm relaxing my shoulders, but my arms are extended right through my fingertips. So sometimes I call this V for victory. And we can do this in different positions, but in the high lunge here, it's just quite energizing, and it can really shift our mood if there's one that's, seeing something glass half full and you want to see it, or you're seeing it half empty and you want to see it a little fuller. This can bring that effect into play, I think. So hold and breathe. Now we're going to float and fly. We're going to bring the arms down and then back up 3 times. Inhale. Exhale. Once more. Inhale. Exhale. All the way back up. And then circle the arms back, or just you could bring them down this way also if you don't like those circles. We're going to come to humble warrior. The hands behind your back, fingers interlaced, lift the chest, open the heart. Humble warrior, we bow towards the earth. So come down inside of that left knee. You can go as far down as you care to go. I like to keep the eyes open. It brings a lot of blood flow to the head. So be mindful. Come up with care. And we've talked about owls already, so we'll get into another little bird set, the crane set that I showed you a week or so ago. I really like this one. You're going to step to the top of the mat or thereabouts, feet about hip width apart, and then as you bend the legs, bring one hand over the other. So remember this, we're getting ready to take flight. Press the palms back, straighten up, lift one leg back, and beginning to take flight. And then little bird arms here, wings, taking flight in flight. And we'll come down and we're just going to continue that. So bend the legs, stack the hands, straighten the legs, press one leg back, palms press back, lift the chest, open the heart. Little bird wings in flight. And down. We'll do one more round. Inhale, a little faster. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, last time. Lift. Fly. And release. And with 2 feet to the floor, take a full breath in. And just slowly, very mindfully come into a forward fold. Now, as I always say, this could be a half forward fold, keeping the spine long. Or you could slide your hands down to your toes or bring your hands behind your back. And if you can, just kind of, if you're okay, you're going to head down, move your head, release your neck. You can sigh or yawn or anything that comes out of your mouth is just fine usually. Come up slowly. Just allow your body a moment to adjust, maybe one hand to the chest, one hand to the belly. So notice how you feel. We've done everything to one side. We'll even everything out by doing it to the second side. Come to the top of the mat. And we'll just do one forward fold here, standing nice and tall. Breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. Step your left foot back. Virabhadrasana 1. Now certainly you could do softer arms as we often do because that is just relaxing for the shoulders and I like this a lot. But the V for victory, just for a little more warming, energizing, uplifting effect. So extend all the way through the fingertips if you care to. And you can even lift the gaze a little bit. And then we'll float and fly. We're going to come down and up. Inhale and exhale. And one more time. And then all the way up. And you can circle the arms back, or if you feel better in the shoulders, bring the arms back like so. For humble warrior, interlace the fingers, maybe wiggle your right foot out to the right a little bit. Lift the chest, open the heart, come forward. As far down as you want to go. So you could go halfway, this would be fine. Some folks go all the way inside of that front right knee. And as I say, I like to keep the eyes open. Occasionally, we have poses where we close the eyes, but in standing situations, usually having the eyes open, of course, is best for our balance. Okay, come up, take your time. Now we did the crane to both sides. So I'm going to repeat something I did on Friday here, which is to come to chair pose and then to play with some hand positions, right? So you'll draw the belly in and up, bend the legs, and then we're going to do our deer antler hands and then our monkey fists. So like pinching your fingers together and bringing the fingers down. Okay, it looks a little funny, but we're going to continue. I think it's interesting to work the hands in different positions. Deer antlers. Straighten the legs, and we'll do tiger claw and fisted hands. Tiger claw, fisted hands, one more time. And then just release, and give the hands a little shake, give the legs a little shake, and we'll just pause here with a wide-legged stance, and just catch our breath and feel a nice, familiar sense of being in 5-pointed star again. In our 5-pointed star, we can go ahead and do our clearing of the tabletops today, which would be bending the legs and then palms down and just clearing off the countertops. One direction and the other way. Clear all that stuff that's taking up space out of the way. Good, one more time. Back to center. Now we'll just pivot the feet. I'm going to go to your left, so I'll be a mirror image of you. We're going to come into our side stretch, which is the variation today with one arm extended towards the ceiling, the other towards the floor. So I call this the side stretch. And we'll do a little pulsing up and down, in and out. Now I thought it would be interesting to see how this would feel in triangle pose. So straighten your left leg. This is a little different. You really have to use your core muscles for stability here. And then if your shoulders agree to it, frame your head with both arms in your triangle pose variation. And relax the arms. Come up, pivot the feet. We'll do our side stroke, side stretch to the other direction. Okay, so once you get yourself set up, you can go in and out just like you're swimming in a lovely body of water. Okay, last time. Hold here and breathe. And then maybe straighten the legs. So this is sort of a really different kind of a version of triangle pose. And then one that is still a little different, but we've done it before, would be to frame the head with both arms. And the legs are straight, energize through the fingertips. And then we'll just finish. So I had one more thought for our wide-legged stance. I'm going to show you a visual. You might remember, I have this over in the corner. My large but somewhat deflated fitness ball. Okay, this is kind of fun to visualize that we all have these big round fitness balls between our feet today. Okay, so here we are. Imagine that big round ball. We're going to bend the legs, come down, pick up the ball, toss it into the sky, and you can lift off of your heels as you toss it, or even hop. So if the surface that you're on feels appropriate for hopping, sometimes it's fun to just give a little hop, and you could do this 3 or 4 times. And once more, I'll just go off the heels this time, just to show options. Woo. Okay, now imagine you're holding the ball. You're going to bend the legs, turn a little bit to your left, and like you're bringing that big round ball over towards your left pinky toe. So you feel this in the lower back on the other side. And we're just going to come up, twist, slight fold, like you're bringing the ball over to your other pinky toe. Just go once more to each direction. And so much of what I look for in our yoga practice is just moving the body in various ways, often in ways that we're not typically moving during our regular daily activities. And this would certainly be in that category of movement. As you come back, release. The rubber ball is back in the corner where it belongs. Hands to the belly. Step or hop the feet together. And breathe in and breathe out. So I will give a moment here for everyone to take a final stretch or pose of their choice. I didn't offer the wide-legged forward fold, so you could go back and take that if you want to, any variation on that forward fold that you might like. You could fold forward with feet together. You could take another balance. You could just do a little shake and get a sip of water, which I will do. So whatever you'd like. Of course, on a Monday, we need to have some rock and roll. So as you get on down with care, decide if it feels like a good day to rock back and forth. Tucking in the knees, tucking the chin a little bit. And then just enjoying that really nice massage to the back of the body. One more time. So the other day, I guess it was Friday, we got back to the option of pigeon pose. And wonder of wonders, I had some feedback that a few people still like pigeon. So maybe not everybody does, but we won't spend a lot of time with it today, but I know not everybody comes every day of the week, so we'll repeat what we did on Friday. And the options will be pigeon pose or what I'm going to show you here. So if you know and love pigeon, you can go into it. I will do it myself in a moment. But the variation that I showed you, we all could do this, and even if you're taking pigeon, you might bend your right leg and just kind of cradle it and do a little warm up for the hip, thigh. And then those who want to go right to pigeon pose can do so. Those who want to see the variations can watch here, just taking the ankle to the thigh, leaning back a little, hands behind the hips, and pressing the upper body forward. So it's a really good stretch, quite safe for the knee because you can kind of ease in and out of it depending what you need. All right, those who are staying with this figure 4 can stay seated. You can always go onto your back and do it. And just briefly, for the pigeon pose, you can start either down dog or table. I'll just show from table, lifting the right leg, bringing that right knee towards the right wrist, and then shifting the hips back. So it's a little hard to read on the screen, I think, but I'm going to show this angle. Okay, so my knee is forward. I'm bringing my foot out to the side a little bit. My back leg, except for what I'm bumping into there, is pretty much straight. And you could hold here, square the hips, relax the shoulders. But if your knee feels okay with it, you can come forward. And it's nice to be able to support the head. And just take some deep breaths. I recognize not everybody is doing this position, and that's why I offered the alternative. I was mentioning, though, that beyond being a very deep hip stretch, it can be a nice, really deep opening stretch for the lower back. So be aware of that area. Now, it's possible to stay here for a long time. We won't, but you could if you wanted to. So please do stay longer. You can also get a pillow or a yoga block to prop under your right hip. Sometimes that right hip wants to drop down. So when we have yoga blocks around, sometimes I'll pass them out for pigeon pose. And release. Now I'm just going to go through the alternative to pigeon on the second side. All right, shake it out. Maybe move your feet a little bit. Give the leg a little bend and the hip a little warm up here. And then ankle to thigh, hands behind your hips, leaning back. And then you can press the chest forward and get just as deep a stretch as you care to get today. You can stay seated. You can go in and out of this. You can lie on your back and do the same figure 4 on your back. And then I'll just show the full Kapotasana, pigeon pose. That left knee comes up towards the left wrist. Hips shift back. Okay, I'm going to bring my foot out a little bit to the right, and then my hips want to drop to the left, and I'm going to try to level and square them towards the front of the mat. So you could stay here, be aware of what your left knee has to say. And if you feel comfortable folding forward, see if you can either rest on the forearms or possibly even stack the hands and support your forehead. And then that will be very quieting to the mind. And just find a steady breath. I definitely have one side that feels better than the other, so my left knee is happier with this and then my right knee is. You may notice the same going on in your body. Just a little messaging. We have to be aware of what the message is that's being sent, one side and the other. So if it's feeling like an effective pose, stay a little bit longer. I just usually do suggest as you come out of pigeon, take just a little time to kind of stretch the legs out, maybe move the feet. We could do the internal-external rotation. And as I said, you can stay in pigeon for a little longer. We're going to come onto our back, so there'll be some choices here before we head towards relaxation. So the hips nice and warm and relaxed. We'll come on down. And just bring the knees in and rock a little, hands to the shins or to the floor. And lift the arms and legs. Now we did a little shake of the limbs at the start of the practice. At this time we could imagine that we're swimming or floating or flying. So just move the arms and legs in a nice, easy, fluid fashion. This is great for the joints. And then you can take any pose you'd like. You could do a shoulder stand. You could do another figure 4. I was going to suggest just a little bit of time in bridge pose. I usually kind of do a quick bridge pose as a counter stretch to other things. Today I thought we could lift up and maybe hold for about 5 to 8 breaths. So tuck those shoulder blades towards each other and move your head a little to release and relax the neck. And then feel that you're pressing the weight evenly into both feet. Thighs parallel, breath steady, and you can do different things. You can lift off of the heels. It's a little tricky, but you can bring the heels down and try to lift off at the toes. You could do a figure 4 or other different variations, lifting one leg and then the other in bridge pose, but you don't have to. Just holding with 2 feet to the floor is nice also. Maybe one more little press of the hips up towards the sky. Big breath in and release. And then just bringing the knees in. So this is a great time for a final stretch or pose of your choice. Maybe a little more freestyle movement of the arms and legs in the air. We did a twist at the start of the practice. You may feel like a recline twist here to help you to feel complete. Take it to both sides. And just moving in any other way that would feel good. And of course we often finish with a happy baby pose, so fit that in if you can. Rocking a little side to side. And then I'll have you stay on your back. So I'm going to come up to seated as we make our way towards relaxation. Just get yourself comfortable as you finish those final poses, movements, or stretches of your choice. Just begin to come on down, maybe get a pillow for under your head or under your knees, an eye pillow to block out the light. And just bring the arms by your sides with the palms facing up. Let the feet relax, close the eyes, and take a nice full breath in. Exhale and release. And really feel on that exhalation that you're just letting go once more of anything that's not serving you. Any thoughts, any sensations, any just little old thing that keeps coming back into your head that you don't need. Just move it along. And feel the body heavy on the earth. And feel the steadiness of the breath. And you can appreciate the gentle rising and falling of the belly with the breath. Knowing at this time that there's nothing that we need to fix or figure out. Nothing to accomplish or achieve. This is the time to really digest the practice, to refresh and refuel at a deep level. Nothing more we need to do, simply dropping back, releasing, relaxing, and letting go completely. And we can stay in stillness a little longer. And certainly if you ever just want to pause the computer or whatever device you have and just stay in your deep relaxation for an extended period of time, you can always do that. Otherwise, just attune to the physical body, appreciate, take in this place of calm that we've arrived at. And when you're ready, deepen the breath. Slowly come back into movement, just little stretches. To the fingers and toes, to the hands and feet. And a yawn or a sigh, a full body stretch, or just going right to bringing the knees in towards the chest, rocking side to side. And if you want to, come over to one side or just take your time coming up. We'll finish cross legs or feet out in front, whatever feels best. And as you get up to seated, I wanted to just repeat Abhyaha Varada Mudra. And this will be a mirror image for you, so I will be doing the hands as they would be for you out there. Your left hand cupped below your belly, your right hand cupped out to the side like so. Okay, Abhyaha Varada. And you can close the eyes here, take a few final nice deep breaths as you've come back from relaxation. Hopefully you feel refreshed and renewed. This mudra again is about releasing fear, anxiety, bringing us to a place of calm, of steadiness, of confidence and security. Something we can all use in these times that we're in, I believe. And we'll release the Abhyaha Varada Mudra. Take a big breath in and bring the hands together at the heart center. And a final moment or two here, if you'd like to close your eyes, just to take in the good energy that we've generated, to come back to your intention or affirmation if you have one, and certainly to send some good energy out to another person or a group of people or being of your choice today. And we'll close with one round of Om, and please join me if you'd like. We'll inhale to begin. Shanti, Shanti, peace. And let's take a moment to bow the head to the heart. Acknowledge the light, the energy, the peace within. And a moment to lift our gaze and to bow to, honor, and appreciate the light within one another. So thank you all so much, and a namaste to all. Namaste. Have a beautiful day on this October Monday. I will see you again soon, and thank you for being with me.